Okay guys, welcome to the first true video on this channel. The first one that I filmed was obviously just the introduction. Now we will be getting into the thick of it, so please brace yourselves. You are an addict. You and I are addicts. You, I, and your friends, we are all addicts. Our entire generation is a generation of addicts, and the problem is that most of us don't get it. The problem is most of us walk blindly through life, not noticing that what weighs us down is our addiction. Now, if we think of classic addictions, there's of course a lot of pictures that come to mind, but most of the time it is people who are addicted to some form of drug, to any type of substance, cocaine, alcohol, crack, whatever you name it. We are addicted to another kind of drug. We are addicted not to a substance, but to something that we ourselves produce, and that is dopamine. Dopamine is the opium of our generation. Now, dopamine in general is a very, very healthy and good hormone. Dopamine is the hormone that we release when we get a reward. Dopamine is the hormone that is released by our body, by our mind, by us when we have done something, when we have achieved something, and that is the reward that we then feel in ourselves. In general, dopamine is very good, and it's amazing that we have it because, of course, that way achieving something actually feels great to us. There's only one problem with that. Nowadays, it is incredibly easy for us to get dopamine without actually doing anything at all that makes us truly deserve a reward. For example, eating junk food. When you're eating fast food, your body releases dopamine. Next example is pornography. When you consume porn, your body will release dopamine because, of course, it thinks that you are engaging into sexual intercourse. But of course, you're not. Next thing, probably one of the biggest of them all, video games. When you achieve something in video games, it feels like a true achievement to you. But as a matter of fact, you have achieved absolutely nothing. True, you have achieved something, but it is in an unreal world. You have achieved nothing in this world that we truly lived in. You have just achieved something in a made-up, non-existent world. The problem with that is that the more you do it, the more you get used to celebrating a success in this imaginary world the same way as you would celebrate a real success. Now, video games is not the last of the addictions. We had junk food, pornography, video games, but of course there are two other great players. The next one is watching series, watching TV. The problem here is again that you sit down and you actually feel like you have accomplished something because the emotions that get released by watching a movie or watching a gripping and an interesting series just makes you feel a certain way. But again, it is not real. And last but not least, that is probably the biggest problem of our generation, is, who would have guessed, social media. The problem with social media again is that it is a fake world. Social media is simply not real, and I know that you've been hearing that a lot. But I think it's just such an important point that it has to be repeated over and over again. Social media is not the real world. So and we all know that feeling, if you post something and you get likes, if you post something and you get comments on it, of course it feels great, people engaging with your content, and it feels like a reward. But what on earth did you do? You posted something. Wow, great. course, one could say, yeah, there's a lot of effort going in. I perfectly understand that, no doubt. But still, this is only an imaginary world that we are getting these achievements from. We do not get achievements from this real world. And the problem with all of that is that we get used to having this rewarding feeling when indulging into these activities that actually get us nowhere in real life. That actually get us nowhere in real life. And that's the problem why so many of us can't talk in front of people, can't talk and stand in front of a crowd of people, because we've never been in this situation, and it's way too hard for us to actually to get to the point at which we like to do that, because we know that afterwards we will have a reward. Afterwards we will be rewarded in some sense. That's the same thing, that's the same problem why so many of us can't talk to women nowadays. I mean, how pathetic is that, that we are a generation that on the one side is so incredibly communicative through social media, but on the other hand, none of us, or a lot of us, can't have a normal, interesting, deep conversation with a woman that lasts longer than a minute. The problem, guys, is that we are blind. The problem is that we do not realize that we ourselves have brought us into this situation. Now, what is the type of drug that we use? It is dopamine, and we get dopamine through the consumption of junk food, social media, video games, porn, and watching TV. These are all instant gratification activities. They are instant because we instantly receive this gratification. We instantly feel like we are getting a reward for something, but we are not. We are not getting a reward for anything important. What's the difference to that? The difference would be delayed gratification. Delayed gratification, for example, would be a very, very simple example that everyone can understand is you meet a girl, you go on a date with her, you have an amazing evening, you talk to her, you understand each other well, you have eye contact, and you just genuinely like each other, and you keep doing that for a couple of times, and then she becomes your girlfriend. Then you are together, then you're having sex. The only problem is that it's so easy for us to get gratification instantly that we became so incredibly lazy that we do no longer want to get delayed gratification, although pretty much all of us know deep down that delayed gratification is the real and good gratification that we all crave for. The only problem is we are so fucking addicted to our drugs, to our modern drugs, that we can't truly break free of it. But here's the catch. Every addiction is self-made. Alcohol does not magically just enter your body. You have to consume it, you have to drink it. The same thing goes for eating junk food. You don't get fat out of nowhere. You eat in such a way that you get fat. It just does not happen from one day to another that you're fat. You yourself are responsible for that, because your body does not just magically appear to have 30 kgs more on the scale. No, it is you who actively puts in junk food into your body that then makes you become fat. The same thing goes for video games. The video games don't play themselves. They don't turn themselves on. You have to indulge into that activity. You have to do that in order for it to work. And the catch about this is that when you are the person that decides to indulge into these activities, you are also the person who can instantly decide to no longer pursue instant gratification, to no longer pursue any of these bad habits. Now, what can you do in order to get rid of these bad habits? But it's fairly easy. You have to replace these bad habits, your addictions, with good habits. And the thing here is that all of us, again, deep down, we all know what these good habits are. We are just too fucking lazy to engage in them. So what's the most basic and best habit that you could replace, I don't know, playing video games or watching porn with? Sleep. Because chances are that if you're going to school, whatever, if you're studying, if you're working, you will only consume this type of drug in the evening or late at night. Now that's the time in which your body should rest. That's the time in which your body needs time to recharge. And you are actively keeping your system from getting this rest, from getting sleep. So this is my first recommendation for you. If you are consuming your drugs in the evening, just don't do it and go to sleep. Just sleep, and trust me, you will feel it instantly. You will feel so much better if you're not watching TV in the evening and you're just going to bed, because your body needs it. The second thing is study, read, educate yourself. Just use your time in a productive manner that actually gets you somewhere. And chances are, again, that if you are studying, if you're going to school, if you are doing work, then these activities would actually get you somewhere. You would get better at what you're doing. And then after that, you can go to bed. Because by the time that you're done with your good activities, with studying, with working on your side hustle, whatever, you will be so tired after you're done with them that you will just gladly go to sleep. So that's the next one: studying, educating yourself, reading. The next thing is also very obvious. If your problem is eating junk food, it's just stop eating junk food and actually educate yourself on how to eat good. And it's not that hard. So please don't come here and tell me, oh, I don't know how to cook. Well, then fucking learn it. Fucking lazy idiot. You lazy idiot. If you're like in your late teens, in your early 20s, and you don't know how to cook, and you've got to learn something, you've got to learn that. I mean, how will you survive if you don't know how to cook? So that's one thing. Learn how to cook healthy, and it's not that hard. There's so much good information about good food out there. You just have to use your brain and Google it and then execute on it and do the stuff that actually produces good food for your body. And trust me, your body, your system, and your mind will be very, very thankful for it, because it's actually getting nourishing foods. And last but not least, also very basic, move your body. Do weightlifting, go for a hike, just go out and move your body. No matter what you do, you don't have to go to the gym. Although going to the gym is a very, very good exercise, but you can do so many other things. Just make sure that you breathe air, that you go out, that you move your body, that you make sure that your blood flows, that your muscles get challenged. Just free your mind and move your body. So these are the positive habits that you can replace your bad habits with. But here's one final notice to that. Yes, you will feel absolutely amazing once you have replaced your bad habits with good habits. But it's going to be incredibly hard. No one gets out of this unscathed. No one has it easy with getting out of addiction, but you can do it. You just have to be absolutely determined and keep doing it. And please realize that there's absolutely no shame in failure, in having to go again. There's no shame in that. But there's shame in stopping. There's shame in not continuing to try to improve yourself. You may take as long as you want, as long as you want. but you have to keep going. It might take you years, but in the end, you will feel absolutely amazing because you were able to free yourself of the shackles that you have put on yourself. You will feel incredible because you know that you were able to get the discipline to keep moving through the hard times. And in the end, the delayed gratification, the reward, will be absolutely mind-blowing and incredible because you will feel like a new person. You will feel like a true man. You will feel like someone who actually did something, and that is good and great delayed gratification that you actually deserve to be rewarded with. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope that I was able to help you with some of these ideas that I had. Again, these are just the basics, but implementing them will change your lives to the better. Keep your head up, keep going, stay strong, and see you in the next one.